you have your own quotes little parking place.
Mhm.
And so that's where she was headed to, and somebody else had found it, dead body in a
Mhm.
car.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman,
And if you're just
Logan
trying to
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're looking at an amazing book. It is called It Takes Two, and it is written by a terrific author. Her name is Mindy Hall. She has penned a cozy mystery where community service turns into a high-stakes puzzle. When Emily joins the board of a nonprofit called Sustain and Shelter, she's suddenly juggling motherhood, volunteer work, and her role as comptroller while trying to untangle 3 deaths in the middle of it all. If you love mysteries with smart humor, small life details, and a strong mother-daughter dynamic, this is one you'll want to put on your list. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. Thank the folks at City of Books for helping us put her on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Mindy, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you on the show. You've done great work on this book. You set a mystery inside a nonprofit boardroom. It's kind of unusual. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration.
I actually worked several nonprofit groups through charitable organizations and watched them interview applicants, et cetera. And there are so many things that people don't realize about nonprofits. It is a business.
Mhm.
Whether you are giving a stack of clothes to somebody to give to other people, whether you are trying to get food to people, you still have to pay for that. There is a bill, and a lot of people don't realize it. And if they don't realize it, sometimes they look at the money coming in and thinking, oh, I could do something with that money, but it's not yours.
Yeah.
And as a gift, it's still not yours. So, when you're looking for places to tell a story or to house a story, there are lots of places that you
Yeah.
can find weirdness going on.
Exactly. And it's good to write what you know about nonprofits and how they run. So I think that was a great fit for you, obviously. Tell us a little bit about Emily. Is she inspired by yourself, by people you witnessed, a combination of all of it? Tell us about Emily.
When I first started writing, she was actually inspired by my daughters.
Hmm.
Um, and then my mother was the inspiration for Louisa.
Hmm.
She actually had done lots of nonprofit work and also was a social worker. My daughters grew up, and all of a sudden, now in my mind, I'm looking at these stories because as an author, you read your stories several times.
Hmm.
You have to sit there and go, now, did I get this? Did I put this in when I wrote it, or did I forget it? That kind of thing. So you read the book again,
Yeah.
which can get a little bit boring, but
Mhm.
um, a close mother-daughter relationship. My mother and I have had that. She's no longer around, and I still love my daughters who are now in their 40s. So you sit there and you look at that, and I look at other stories, and I think uh, that is a reflection of what you live. But
Mhm.
in a story, as you know, Logan, in a story, you can change that.
Mhm.
It is a reflection. It is not the way you live.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
can make those characters move around and have different ideas. Now, and It Takes Two, there is for Emily a good friend.
Mhm.
And that takes, I have two other books in publication. I want to republicize a fourth one. Publish
Mhm.
a fourth one. But what happens is that again, those books, the first book deals primarily with Louisa, the mother.
Mhm.
The second book deals with Louisa and Emily. You need a foil, especially in mystery. You need a foil. Okay, what happens next? Well, you could write a paragraph about it, or you could carry it out through conversation,
Mhm.
or big findings you could carry out through conversation. And so that's why in It Takes Two, you've got Emily and her friend Miriam.
Mhm.
And you've got some background information about how they're friends and why they're friends.
Yeah.
But the story itself is, yeah, in the boardroom.
Yeah. Tell us about the three deaths that are at the heart of the story.
Oh gosh. Um, the first one is in the middle of summer, a rotten smell
Mhm.
in a parking lot. And the dog, who is Emily's companion, gets a hold of it, the smell first. She
Mhm.
has a little parking place where she parks
Mhm.
because it's far away. You know, if you creep around parking garages long enough,
Mhm.
you can find little special niches where when it's Christmas, where when it's summer, where whatever time you have your own quotes little parking place.
Mhm.
And so that's where she was headed to, and somebody else had found it, dead body in a
Mhm.
car.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. And then you have the second death is Ida, who is a bookkeeper, and she has a surprising connection to sustain and shelter.
Mhm.
And you sit there and you start looking at all these. Emily starts looking at these and says, wait, that one, this person had a connection here. This person had a connection with sustain and shelter, etc. So you
Yeah.
go, wait.
So she starts connecting the dots, and that becomes the heart of the story. Now, you touched on this a little bit before. This is the third book in the Louisa Daniel mystery series.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The first is a first person. The second is, like I say, Louisa and her daughter Emily
Mhm.
going to West Texas. I actually lived in West Texas for a while and went to
Mhm.
school in Texas for a little while. Um, and the third book is Emily growing out of her daughter role. Now, what I tried to do, Logan, was take this family, just a perfectly normal family, and I tried to focus on first the mother of Emily, then Emily and her mother, then Emily. And the last book actually focuses on the husband of Emily, David.
Mhm. Gotcha.
And the reason I did that is because there's a comfort factor when you're dealing with characters who are good people
Mhm.
and they just happen to fall into, again, strange things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's how life sometimes unfolds, which is what makes your books very relatable and very real. Have you envisioned your books as a series of films or a TV series? I know Matlock is back and it stars
Yeah,
Kathy Bates now,
yeah,
and
yeah, she
it's kind of
is.
a similar genre in a way.
Yeah. Um, when I wrote these books, remember e-zines,
Hmm.
magazines
Yep.
on, okay.
Yeah.
When I wrote these books, that was just occurring. The big publishing houses were buying out the smaller ones. And the whole industry of publishing was changing. I couldn't read it that well. I couldn't see where things were going.
Yeah.
And so there was a Sisters in Crime chapter in San Francisco area that I joined up with. I got some ideas for publicity. Now, publicity is a huge industry within publishing. It amazes me what you can do to publish, i.e., you
Yeah.
are an example of that. That wasn't around 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
And so you look at it and you go, wait, can I tap into that? I don't know. My books are comfortable. I look at all the different books there are and all the different books I've read throughout my life. Sometimes a book will pop up and I'll go, I think I read that. Look at it. Yeah, I read that. But some of the books you just absolutely fall in love with. I think that's Agatha Christie's forte. The books are comfortable. They aren't gruesome. They are thinking books. The characters are delightful. And you learn a little bit about the 20s and the 30s
Right.
and into the 40s. And those are good books, books that give you some information, books that let you fall into the story and you really don't want to put it down. I did that with Nancy Drew when I was
Yeah.
10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Comfortable books that Settlemyre group had a formula, Hardy Boys, and they were comfortable and they were relatively safe.
Right. Exactly. There's a way to write murder mysteries where it's just a mystery, nothing gorish or awful or explicit. And
Yeah.
obviously that's the appeal of your books, that it's, deaths and murders are part of the milieu, but it's not something that is gruesome, which.
No, and in America we have so many books and we have so much knowledge. And when you're talking about death, there are some books that are very, very gruesome, like you say.
Right.
But you still have to realize that's a part of life. And you have to, in many books where there's an intellectual feel about them, they are describing how life ends. Sometimes it ends in a surprising way, and sometimes it doesn't. And so you still have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I still do not, I do not read only mysteries. I read books that actually tell me something about the world. One I just read was Pacific by Simon Winchester, whom I like very, very much, talking about Australia and the whole southern area of the Pacific Ocean. Extremely interesting.
Yeah.
He goes back in history as he always does, and he brings it forward. So you learn something, and you want to learn something about every book, even children's
Absolutely.
books.
Yeah. You want to be entertained, but you also want to be informed. You want to learn about
Exactly.
different cities, different people, different cultures, and that's all part of it.
Exactly.
Just got a couple of moments left. Let me just ask you this. What's next for Emily and Louisa? Have you thought that out?
I kind of have. I've got, I now have another set of grandchildren. I kind of have. When I was writing these books, I had plots just flying through my head. Somehow they've landed, and I don't know where. So, yes, I have thought about it. And we'll just see. You know,
Yep.
sometimes that stuff just hits you. When I decided to write the books, it was kind of a fluke. I thought, I wonder if I can do this. And I wrote the first one. I thought, I actually did this. And then I
Mhm.
started having more and more plots
Yep.
possible to answer your
Exactly.
questions.
Yep, that is the magic of inspiration. You never know when it's going to hit you. Sometimes you have
No.
to just sit down and type, and a story comes. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Well, this is a great story we've been talking about today. It's called It Takes Two. It is a fun, twisty reminder that even the most well-intentioned communities can hide complicated secrets, and
you
that
bet.
teamwork can crack the toughest cases. Mindy, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
I'm glad you have. I enjoyed speaking with you as well. I appreciate your time, your insight, and the wonderful talent you have employed in putting together these great books for the series. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.